This is Deivids. He's 27, and just a short while ago, he was working as a handyman in England. But now he's in military training in Latvia, barely 30 kilometers from the Russian border. Why would someone give up a chill life for this? We spent 2 days with Deivids to find out what makes him tick and whether he's ready to die for his country. It's the end of July, and we're heading from Riga, Latvia's capital, to Alūksne. This is the location of one of the country's biggest military training camps, and just a few miles from Russia. The closer we get, the fewer houses we see. And honestly, we don't know what to expect. Our Latvian cameraman explains that Alūksne is picturesque. Plenty of Latvians choose it as a wedding location. And it's true. The town of 7,000 is far fancier than the places we've passed on our way. That's partly down to the military base. The Latvian government pours money into the region, since this is where the soldiers of tomorrow are trained. In 2023, Latvia followed other countries bordering Russia and introduced compulsory military service, a response to the war in Ukraine. Men between 18 and 27 can be selected at random, kind of like a lottery. That is, if not enough enlist in the first place. But in practice, that rarely happens. Current numbers show that around 95% of soldiers signed up voluntarily, like Deivids.
It was one day before the deadline where you can sign up anymore. I already had interest in the military for the last few years because my dad used to be in the military and used to tell me all these stories. He used to go to many places, like for example, one place he was in Uzbekistan for a while.
Deivids' military service began in January. Today's schedule, anti-tank defense. That means that over the next few days, these young recruits will learn to drive six-wheeled military vehicles, which are used for everything from spying on enemy forces to transportation of heavy weaponry. It's almost like a normal driving course. First come the theory lessons, then the technical checks. Then finally, the trainees have to actually get into the vehicle, whatever the weather.
No, it felt like I was going to come off a few times because it's very slippery and it's really muddy, so it goes sideways a little in some places, but it only feels like that. You're not actually going to fall off, it's not going to tip over, so you just have to drive through and just don't panic, just cramp your legs around it and just stay on it.
Just 6 months ago, David's life was unrecognizable. He was still living in the UK with a secure job as a handyman. He had plenty of friends and a decent work-life balance. His family had moved to England 15 years before, for financial reasons. David's parents wanted him and his siblings to have opportunities they wouldn't have in Latvia.
The part of me never felt like it was home for me there, and I always missed Latvia and just how it was here compared to there. And just hearing my own language every day, just speaking my own language to the people around me, and just the culture, everything, just Latvia in general. Well, it was a good feeling knowing that you wouldn't have to go back, because I'd usually come here on holiday for a couple of weeks, and there was always that heavy feeling that you'd have to go back at the end of it. I was never liked that part, but it felt good now because I knew I'm here to stay, so I wouldn't have to be going back. The whole war in Ukraine is another big part which kind of motivated me to sign up for this as well, because I wanted to be personally involved in the defense of the country if it comes to it. I feel like I couldn't sit on the side while other people are working towards it and trying to defend the country. So I wanted to be more involved and just be ready for it and know what to do in the situation if it ever comes to it.
The Latvia Deivids returned to is completely different from the one his family left behind. In 1991, the country gained independence after 50 years of Soviet rule, and life for many became more secure. But now the atmosphere in the country has grown tense once again. Like many neighboring nations, Latvia has ramped up military exercises in the wake of Russia's assault on Ukraine. EU-wide, it is among those investing the most money in its defense. In addition to professional soldiers, Latvia also has reservists and a 10,000-strong volunteer army. Those who join receive basic training and can regularly take part in exercises. Deivids and his colleagues are still learning how to conduct technical checks, till lights out around 10 p.m. Feel like sleeping in the next day? Not a chance. The morning routine kicks off at 6 a.m. Activities like shaving without missing a single hair, or making the bed without leaving a single wrinkle. Lastly comes the morning roll call, where everything is scrutinized until every last detail is in place. Strict rules, long days. Military training is tough. Something Deivids had to learn quickly.
It was the first time we had to stay multiple nights in the woods, and I think that was around February time. And it was like getting to minus 15 to 20 degrees during the night, and you're there rolled up in your sleeping bag, already wearing all your layers, all layered up, and you're still freezing, you can't get warm. And it was just during that night I was just there thinking, like, what am I doing here? Like, why am I here?
But the training also has its upsides for him, like learning to fire machine guns.
It was a very hot day, it was like 30 degrees outside, and we spent like 12 hours just sitting in the sun, just shooting machine guns. And there was targets put up at different ranges, and you just shoot at them. And I don't know, it's just fun shooting a machine gun, I guess. And just feeling the smell of the gunpowder, the empty shells, like the hot empty shells just hitting your face and just bouncing off everywhere.
Deivids feels the training has toughened him up and made him more patient. But on the day of the test, there are still some nerves. After all, there's no choice but to pass if he's to be given the green light to operate the vehicles on the forest course. That's situated some 15 kilometers away, on a massive military compound where Ukrainian soldiers also train. According to one survey, a massive 72% of Latvians consider the war in Ukraine a threat to the EU. About as many are worried for their future, war and conflict being their biggest fears. This has also impacted the Russian-speaking community in Latvia. About a quarter of the Latvian population have a Russian background, and some argue that Latvia hasn't done enough to help this minority integrate into society. Many Russian speakers feel ostracized from society, something that can make them especially susceptible to Russian propaganda, particularly in the form of TikToks and other social media. Even Deivids has come across this kind of video.
I know that it's not real, and I just don't try not to let it affect me too much, because obviously I remember that it's just part of their tactic to just destabilize regions with misinformation and just their propaganda and stuff like that.
Most of his family members live here in Latvia. Deivids feels he's in the right place to prepare for the threat of war. For him, every Latvian has a duty to defend their country.
Would you die for Latvia?
Well, I've given my oath, so yeah, I'd say so, yeah. And it's just, again, it's one of those things you try not to really think about it. It's just something you kind of have to just accept that it's something that can happen, obviously. But we have our NATO allies, and there's quite a few NATO troops stationed here. And also, obviously, we always train and just try to be as prepared as we can for it. So I'd say if it ever comes to it, we'd be ready and we'd know what to do.
NATO is a defense alliance for the collective security of Europe and North America. 32 nations pledge mutual military support should one member be attacked. In recent years, NATO has ramped up deployment of military forces on its eastern flank as both a defense and a deterrence. But not all Latvians share Deivids' confidence in NATO. One recent survey revealed that only about 40% believe allies would actually send troops in an emergency. Before the recruit's next step, there's a short lunch break, with potatoes, salad and sauce. Maris is just 19 and joined the military directly after finishing with school.
Domā palikt pēc tam. Var sev iedomāties tādā lomā.
Pēc valsts aizsardzības dienas to uzreiz man liekas, ka nē. Bet jo es gribu studēt, bet iespējams, ka pēc kaut kādiem gadiem, ja universitātē izgājis un mums kā atgriezīšu.
Tad jau uzreiz pat taisno uz akadēmiju.
Jā, tā arī iespēja. Es arī domāju, iet uz akadēmiju, jo tad būs universitāte, jau tad reāli tikai jāmācās, cik tur vienā pusgada bija vai 2.
Tā.
Un tu jau vari iet kā leitnants. Tā kā jā, tā arī iespēja, bet tagad uzreiz pēc valsts aizsardzības dienas tā...
Tu jau zini manu atbildi, jā?
Es zinu atbildi, jā.
Protams, turpināšu uzreiz vienkārši.
Deivids was so driven that after just a couple of months, he already signed up for 3 to 5 more years. This would enable him later to become a professional soldier. Part of his motivation were the benefits. Volunteers receive €600 a month, with accommodation, meals, health insurance, and training all covered. Hardly a bad deal, given the minimum wage is €740 in Latvia.
Do you have wishes for your future?
I'd like to go on an international mission. That's like one of my goals within the military career. Obviously, I wouldn't mind becoming an instructor myself one day, maybe. Just be an example to them. I enjoy just teaching people, trying to help people learn, and feel like I could do really well there.
One point stands out from our short trip to Latvia. For many here, contributing to the defense of your country is a no-brainer, whether or not that's in the military. For Latvians, the threat of a Russian attack is an everyday reality to be pragmatic about, not afraid of. It's simply something to be trained for if it happens.